Okay, everybody, here is going to be your thorough start to finish on this design. From here to getting a design printed up, you could actually use a print as a pattern in here if you want to. It's not absolutely necessary. You can just look at your measurements and use them and build, or you could actually transfer these patterns right onto your design when you're done. So I'm going to go through the entirety of it really quickly. Number one, to make this thing look like it's going to get cut on a bandsaw, you want to do a drawing for your side cuts on the bottom of the block. It's just my suggestion. Finish the sketch. Um, just take note real quick. You're always going to want to also have the sketch menu open so you can go back in here and you can reposition. I put a measurement off the bottom. You can only go up to 15 millimeters away. Otherwise, the wheels won't even touch the ground if you draw that hole up any higher. But you can go down as long as you have a few millimeters off of wood below the hole. You can go pretty low with this thing. You can offset it like maybe 6 millimeters off the bottom if you really wanted to. The other thing that I need to make a sure note of is that you can bring this thing down to 230 millimeters. The lighter the better. If you're working with the heavier wood, you're going to be better off doing it smaller. And it's less of a wood. So yeah, you're going to have to know how to keep going back into editing these sketches and setting things up. And ultimately, what you'll do is, I mean, you can put a measurement on this thing from the beginning, or whatever measurements you're putting on here, you're going to use. I can, there we go. So what you're doing is literally just pulling the measurements off of it. And I'm going to show you the trick to this is really when you're done, there's a way to bring in, you just click auto dimension, and it's going to take and put in all of the necessary dimensions that you're going to need, and it's going to give you all the math at that point. You're just going to be able to use the math from here to be able to design your car. You've got the design side. Anyway, the last thing with this is just hit the E for extrude on the keyboard when you place these holes and make sure that you have it set up to go. Whoop, I hit the wrong button. A and E. Yes. Extrude menu. You select these two circles and you're going to go extent type to all and then flip the cut and then hit OK and then blow the holes right through the body of the car. Another thing you need to know is the visual changes. Changing back and forth between wireframe. You can see I don't actually have these cut out, which I'm going to now. Again, I just hit the E on the keyboard instead of hitting extrude. I'm going to go distance, even for all. Flip it, and you'll see it'll hit the holes through there. If you want to get crafty about changing the visual styles, if you hold Control and press the number 5, it'll go to that view. If you press Control and number 7, it'll go to a wireframe. Instead of having to go here, you can see Control plus 7, Control plus 5. Those are the two views that I generally go back and forth with as I'm doing a project like this. So I'm going to go into wireframe. I'm going to click the bottom of this thing and show you how to draw the side cuts. Create sketch. First thing I'm going to do is put in a line of symmetry. I'm going to go in the center point. This doesn't matter how long, how short. You just need a segment of line there to choose as a mirror line, so you can design on one half of it and mirror it on that line. I'm going to go in here and also, it's easiest if you just project all of your lines on the outside of the block to begin with. Project. If you hit P on the keyboard, is the easiest way to do that as well. But I'm drawing on the bottom of the block. I'm going to project the edge lines onto my new sketch, so I can easily cut things out now. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to demo, just do a 3-point arc, something real simple, purely for demonstration purposes here. I'm also going to draw a nose on this thing so you can see a little bit more about how this works. You can draw whatever you want and then hit this mirror tool. You're going to select the objects first, which are these two lines, an arc and a line. And you're going to select the mirror line. It'll make it symmetrical. Again, I can hit the E on the keyboard to extrude. because I projected the lines, I have the outer lines already done. So you can just put in the inner lines. You're going to cut these shapes that you want to cut out. Again, you're going to go through all of everything and then flip the direction of the cut and then hit OK. And you can also hit the A on the keyboard, bring up the appearance menu, and start to encode the colors you might want to ultimately paint this thing. Not that we have every color and every option, but I like to give it something that's a little bit interesting for the color palette. Anyway, there's that. Then the other thing is to draw on the sides. We'll cut this part out. Again, Control 7 on the keyboard is going to let us be able to see through it. You got to make sure you don't cut anywhere near this canister or this cartridge hole. So again, I'm drawing on the side. I'm going to project. You have this create menu, project, or hit the P on the keyboard, project outside lines. These are seen as segments, and so just project all of it. Just so it's there in case you need it. Because I might want to do something like this. You don't want to cut through back here. Fill it. Put a little fill it on there. And go here with spline. Something like that. Hit enter when you're finished. If you're using a spline, you can use these to change your angles. Wherever you click is going to create a point, so you can modify it as you go. Something that looks cool. Okay, so I have two shapes. I have this shape. Actually, I have a lot of shapes. But you can see because I projected the outside lines, as soon as I draw through it, any of these parts become extrudable. So I'm going to hit the E on the keyboard again, select these parts that I need to remove. Extend choose all, flip the direction of this thing. You can see it's going to now cut away and remove all of that. Control 7, Control 5. You can even play around with some of the other controls. Numbers, again, the visibility options are here, visualization, these control functions are how you can quickly, instead of going back into these menus, toggle through it. Okay, so let's say that's a finished design. One of the other things you can do is go back and fill it. Come up with a number that works. A little bit much. See, that would be a problem because it's going to cut into where the wheels go. And then it did this. It's not symmetric because of the way I ordered the selection. So I'm going to back out of this. And all this kind of sanding stuff you can figure out after the fact. You really want clean lines and cut lines so you can figure this out. You can deal with the rounds and everything later. Or if you want to, either way. All right, let's move along here. Go into drawing from design and hit OK, and it's going to bring you to this standard sheet size for everybody. What you'll notice is it says 1:5 here. That means the size of this thing is actually 1/5 full size. and change it to 1.1, and it'll bring it up to make this the actual size of my dragster. Put this here, hit enter, and it places the view. It looks blurry at first, but once you actually finalize the view, and then you can project the view, you can see this is a straight on-side view of the car. I can go into this tool here, click it, project the view, click on that, go straight up, hit enter. That'll give me my top view. And if I want to back view this thing even, I can click on this and go to the left, hit enter, and you'll see it gives me all of the actual views. If you want to see this in shaded format, you can go to edit view and change the view controls, the style of controls there, in case you want that. All right, now check this out. If you click this button right here, there's dimension, which you can actually place your own individual dimensions on there, or you can click this fancy tool, like auto dimension. And it gives you different view options, whatever makes the most sense. And overall, I'm gonna go with this one. All right, and then the beautiful part about this is you can actually print this right from here. You go print menu, make sure that you're on the EO3, it says 5225DN at the end of it, printer. Make sure that you cut it off if you don't have an node orientation, change it to landscape, and then hit print. And that will allow you to actually cut this out and use it as a pattern if you want, or just look at it and use your measurements. You can pull the measurements right off of the program. Yeah, or if you don't need these measurements, you can also go in there and keep them. You don't have to use all these. You just auto dimensioning it, and you can just use your view. These views can also be moved around. Just grab the first one that you put in. The program is a little funky right now. Slowing it down. Anyway, don't forget to save. Dragster drawing. As soon as you have a solid plan, again, you're just trying to get to the point where you really know where your wheel holes are and everything. You can see my measurements are here. I got a measurement 38 millimeters from the back of it. You just mark out where your holes are, take the measurements, drill them, and then get building. Let me know if you need anything. Take care.